You're listening to the Doctor Is In podcast, brought to you by MartinClinic.com. During the episode, the doctors share a lot of information. As awesome as the info may be, it is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. It's strictly for informational purposes.
Well, good morning, everyone. What we're going to do this morning, we're going to talk about the hidden causes of IBS this morning, okay? Because I see that in my office every day. We get, thousands of patients a year with IBS. So let's talk a little bit about IBS and what causes IBS, okay? Because for a doctor to say to you, well, you know what, you have IBS, you know what that means? They didn't find anything, really. So you might have had a colonoscopy, you might have had a scope up and down, ultrasounds and whatever. They didn't really see anything, so they say, oh, you got IBS. Well, that's an easy diagnosis to make. Irritable bowel. Yeah, your bowel is angry, right? And millions and millions and millions of people have an angry bowel. And but why? You see, I love to reverse engineer everything and tell you why you have an angry bowel. And generally, in what I do is I can figure out why in a pretty short period of time, generally, okay? Because that's what I look for. I want to know why so that we can get at the root of the problem and fix the root issue, okay? So I want to talk about that this morning, okay? So the number one cause of IBS is dysbiosis, okay? Dysbiosis. And what does that mean? It means that you got an invasion in your gut of Candida albicans. It's the number one reason that people have trouble with their gut. They have literally a yeast infection, a fungal infection in their gut. It is so common. It is the number one cause. In medicine, we call it dysbiosis. And that just means, dysbiosis means uneven. It is a growth of yeast. Now, here's what happens, okay? So let me explain the what we call the etiology of this. How does it happen? How do you get an overgrowth of Candida? Now, a lot of you guys know this already, but I'm going to talk about it again, okay? How do you get yeast? Look, yeast outside your body, think about this for a minute. Yeast outside your body, what does it do? Well, you put it in bread. Why? It makes bread rise, right? So yeast, on its own, it's all right. And actually, we all have a little bit of yeast in our body. It's part of your gut a little bit. It's got a small amount in the gut. When your gut is normal, you got a little bit of yeast. The problem is, okay, so let me explain that invisible war that you do not see, which is going on inside of your body. Every day you're at war. You might not think of it like that, but that's what's happening. It's invisible. You don't see it, but your body is in a war all the time. And that is, you have an army, good bacteria, okay? Especially in your gut, but it goes everywhere. The bacteria in your body outnumbers your cells in your body. We're not talking billions, we're talking trillions. And as long as you have a good army of good bacteria, it's called you win in many things, many things. Like almost, Hippocrates said it 2,000 years ago that all disease starts in the gut. And he was the father of medicine. And guess what? Today, 2,000 years later, we're saying, Hippocrates is pretty smart. He was a smart dude to figure that out way back a long time ago. So, dysbiosis is when, okay, you got your good army. And then you have the bad army, okay? Your bad bacteria. And you know what? They're always watching each other, okay? But they're, okay, as long as it's equal. Then your body is in harmony. Your body is in balance. Your body is able to, your body handles things well. What happens, though, when you don't have that good army, okay? You know that if you take an antibiotic for 5 days, 5 days, you wipe out all your good army. The good bacteria is gone. So what happens? What happens when the good bacteria is gone? It's gone in 5 days. Now, antibiotics are not the only cause. Now we know that non-steroidal, you know, when you take an Advil, you take a Motrin, and I know Tylenol is not a non-steroidal antibiotic, but even with a Tylenol, you know what it does? It kills your friendly bacteria. When you have aspartame, here's what we know about aspartame and those crappy artificial sugars. It destroys your good guys. It destroys your good army. When you're under stress with elevated cortisol for too long of a period of time, add in all the pesticides and the herbicides. When you drink out of the tap and you drink, if you got fluoride in your water, like fluoride, the dentist wants you to have fluoride to keep your teeth white, but it destroys your good bacteria. It kills them. So guys, just understand what I'm saying. So, you know, whenever I get somebody with IBS, I always, let's go back. When did your IBS start? Oh, it's been about 2 years, doc. I said, well, let's go back. Let's go back for another year even before that. What happened? Oh, you know what? I had an ear infection, or I had a chest infection, or I had, I had a bladder infection. Okay, it was bad. You had to take an antibiotic. You guys know me. I'm not against antibiotics. I'm not. If you got a raging infection, you need an antibiotic. You go to the hospital. You know, you need an antibiotic. Come on. I'm not against that. Antibiotics, they're the greatest discovery in medicine. It saved gazillions of people's lives. The problem is you kill your friendly bacteria. Now the good army is gone. When you destroy or even diminish your friendly bacteria, you know what happens? The third army crawls in, and guess what? Now you have what we call dysbiosis. The yeast overtakes your gut. If you don't have enough friendly bacteria, now you know this, but I'm going to say it again. You're going to get an overgrowth of Candida albicans. You got yeast, it's a fungus, and guess what? It overtakes your gut, and it can give you irritable bowel. And doctors generally never look for that. They don't even think of yeast. And I'm telling you, it's the number one cause of IBS. You got a bad gut, you better take probiotics, you better get that gut fixed, and quit feeding the bears. Quit giving the yeast sugar because it wants sugar. And it'll call your name every day, and stop eating sugar and go after it. Go after it. Get rid of that and take a broad spectrum probiotic. And one of the two things, when you look at a probiotic, make sure that it has L. reuteri, which is a bacterial strain that kills yeast, and L. rhamnosus. Okay, those are two very important strains. Look, you know me. I like a multi-strain. I like a broad spectrum probiotic. Take it every day. I tell people, there's a blood test to find out if you need to take a probiotic every day. There's a blood test you can do. Did you know that? Yeah. Prick your finger. If the blood comes out red, you should take a probiotic. If it comes out any other color, you don't need a probiotic. How's that? Got it? Do a little blood test. Just prick your finger. If the blood's red, you need a probiotic. Because we live in a world where bacteria is being destroyed every day. The chemicals, the environment, the antibiotics, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, and even Tylenol, artificial sweeteners, fluoride in the water, and yada, yada, yada. Just keep going, and lots of stuff kills your friendly bacteria, okay? So what's the second cause? Okay, and again, are these in order? Maybe. One of the causes of IBS too, okay, that has everything to do with yeast, by the way, is, you guys heard the term leaky gut, but this is the same thing that creates dysbiosis. Leaky gut is when you lose that border, the border guards of your, strip away your friendly bacteria with all the things that I mentioned above. Okay, so you're, it's dysbiosis. Now, another cause is what we call SIBO, SIBO. Now, SIBO, if you Google it, you'll see that it is a bacterial infection in the small intestine. So it's a little bit higher up in the gut, but SIBO is characterized more by lots of gas, bloating, very uncomfortable, belching even. You know when you belch, you're just blue, that kind of thing. That often is caused by SIBO. And SIBO is, according to medicine, is a bacterial infection. Now, Dr. Martin disagrees with that, okay? Listen, it's like, let me just say this and then you'll understand what I'm saying. Ladies, when you get a urinary tract infection, a bladder infection, right? You go to the doctor, he says, oh, you got, it's definitely a bladder infection. You got a lot of pain, it's burning. You know what? It's never just, because they give you an antibiotic, right? And it goes away. The problem is, it wasn't just a bacterial infection. It was a yeast infection with a bacteria on top of it. The yeast got into your urinary tract. It loves moisture. Think about yeast as the cousin of mold, okay? Yeast is the cousin of mold. So what does that do? Where do you find mold? You find mold in the basement. You had water damage, you get mold in your house. It's in the bathroom, all that humidity, showers and all this and that, you get mold, right? Where does yeast, which is the cousin of mold, where does it go? It loves moisture. So what does it do? It gets into the bladder. It loves the gut. It loves your sinuses. That's why a lot of people, they have sinus problems and they don't know. They go, oh, I got chronic sinusitis, and you're taking antibiotic after antibiotic and antihistamines, and you're constantly using steroid sprays, and guys, that makes the yeast even worse. It'll just give you temporary relief. It's just like a urinary tract infection. I'm not telling you not to take an antibiotic if it's burning, but just understand, under that is a yeast infection. SIBO is a yeast infection in the small intestine with a bacteria on top of it. So medicine, listen, God bless them. They want to give you an antibiotic for SIBO, even if doctors recognize SIBO. A lot of doctors don't even recognize SIBO as a disorder. But, people in my profession, we know that SIBO exists. It's in the small intestine. It's different than having a yeast in your large intestine. This is in your small intestine, and it gives you, like I said, it's more the belching, it's more the burping, it's more the, you get almost everything you eat bothers you. That can be SIBO. And SIBO, again, is a yeast infection in the small intestine. Now, here's what I do with SIBO. I give you a broad spectrum probiotic. You got to do that. I give you digestive enzymes with oil of oregano. That's why my digestive enzymes have oil of oregano. Why? Because oil of oregano kills. It kills the bacteria and it kills the yeast. It helps to kill the yeast. That's why I love oil of oregano. Put it in the digestive enzymes. Brush your teeth with it. A lot of people, oh, Dr. Martin, I don't want to have too much oil of oregano. It's so strong. Yeah, but it's good for you. It's good for you. So I like oil of oregano. Every day I spray my toothbrush with oil of oregano. And then you brush your teeth, brush your gums, give your gums a good vigorous brush with the oil of oregano. Now you're taking oil of oregano and it kills. And it does not, listen to what I'm going to say, it does not kill your friendly bacteria. I had somebody at a health food store the other day who worked there and said, well, you can't take oil of oregano every day because it's an antibiotic. Yeah, it's an antibiotic, but it's a natural, and it only goes after the bad guys, not the good guys. It's a spice. Oil of oregano is a spice. It is an essential oil. It is good for you. Don't kill the bad guys. God gave us these things in nature, guys, to kill off the bad guys, your bad bacteria. Isn't that beautiful? It's a natural antiviral, antibiotic. It's a natural antifungal. So put it on a toe fungus too, okay? So this, one of the causes that you got to look at, and it'll affect your upper GI as well as your gut, and you almost can't, it doesn't matter what you eat, you're farting, belching, because food ferments. And if your small intestine's not right, this is where the absorption of your nutrients takes place, is in the small intestine. So this is an important area. SIBO, look for that and how to kill it. So broad spectrum probiotic, take digestive enzymes with every meal, and oil of oregano. These are the things that will fix your gut. Now, third thing that you could have are food intolerances. Now, at the end of the day, here's Dr. Martin. Even the food intolerances, okay? Because you go gluten schmooten, right? Like, I'm a gluten schmooten guy. Like, I'm not saying, like, if you got celiac, don't eat gluten. But at the end of the day, it's not so much, oh, doc, I cut out my gluten, I feel better. Well, good for you. God bless you. But you know what? That's not the biggest thing that you did. Is actually when you cut down on your gluten, you cut down on your carbohydrates. You were feeding yeast. So when you have food intolerances, look, make sure, okay, I'm not saying there's no such thing as a food intolerance. But what I'm saying is, usually the lining of your gut has been disturbed, and you got a yeast there that is growing. It's fungal. And now, you know what? Oh, you know what, doc? I can't have dairy. Okay, well then don't have it. And a lot of people can't have milk and yogurt or whatever, but they can have cheese. But you got to figure that out. Be your own doctor. I get kids coming in, and mom goes, can I do a food test on them? I said, well, doc, I call mom's doc, you do it with your kid. Do the elimination diet. Be a doctor, mom. You're smarter than your doctor down the street. So why don't you do it? Like, why do you got to spend $600-700 to do a food test, and they'll come back, oh, I'm allergic to this, that, and the other thing. And I go, well, why don't you do it yourself and just do elimination? Like, you know what? If you eliminate, if you're always coughing and you're sneezing and you got, you're just stuffed up all the time, usually kids. I say, well, get rid of dairy for a bit, see what happens. Oh, okay. You know what, doc? You're right. It was dairy. Was bothering him. Okay, well, you got to figure that out. Secondly, look, sometimes it's eggs. I love eggs. Eggs, for 90% of the population, it don't bother them. But there are people that have trouble with eggs. And the reason, again, that they do is because they got too much yeast in their gut. Their gut lining has changed. They don't have enough friendly bacteria. And the proteins in the egg bother them. Okay, well, eliminate that. And then the biggest elimination you will do is elimination of sugar. Sugar. It's sugar, because sugar is what feeds yeast. And remember, bread is going to be sugar in 5 seconds. So cut out your stinking carbohydrates and watch how much better your gut gets. So you got to look out for food intolerances. And generally, you're intolerant of sugars. Okay? You're intolerant of sugars. I tell you, because sugars feed your yeast. So I always come back to that overgrowth of dysbiosis, the Candida albicans. Okay, so food intolerances, do the elimination diet, do it yourself. All you have to do is eliminate a food for a couple of days and then reintroduce it and go, oh, you know what? I found out, yesterday I did this with a lady because she had already sort of done it, but she said, well, I haven't officially taken a blood test or whatever and send my blood out to a lab. Look, guys, you want to give me $600? I'll send your blood out and get tested. But why waste your money? You know what? I don't care about those tests. I really don't. Do it yourself. You'll figure it out. Now, so here's another one. Okay, here's another one. And ladies, this is meant for you. Okay? You ladies that live on chicken and salad. Salad and chicken. Okay? Because whenever I talk to a woman in my office, almost invariably, here's their diet. What do you eat? Chicken and salad. Why don't you eat red meat? I eat meat, Doc. Chicken. Chicken's for chickens. But salads! Because you believe, right? I mean, you wouldn't believe how the population got duped by this. Well, Dr. Martin, if I don't have my fiber, I gotta have fiber, okay? So let me just go I gotta have my fiber. Fiber is so stinking overrated, okay? Because it ferments. It ferments. You're eating too much fruit. You're eating too many salads. And they ferment. Like, you're not a rabbit. Your gut wasn't made for a lot of fiber. I gotta go to the bathroom, Doc, every day. If I don't go to the bathroom every day, my doctor told me that's not good for me. Well, I don't know. Like, everybody's got a different gut. If you go to the bathroom every day, good for you. But if you go every second day and your gut's not irritated, well, then leave it alone. Why are you trying to change it? I gotta have my fiber. Like a fiber. I gotta have oatmeal every morning. No, you don't. Why do you? I gotta have prunes. Because otherwise I'm constipated. I go crazy when I hear that stuff. Now look, only a rabbit can live on salad, okay? A human being can't live on salad. And I got millions of women in North America, they sort of live on salad. They think that's good for them. It's overrated. There's much. You know what? You got nothing in a salad. You got a little bit of K1. You got a few little vitamins, but that's not enough. No, it's meant for rabbits, not for you. Look, a lot of people, they develop diverticulosis, which is little pouches in the bowel, and because they're eating too much fiber. Don't overdo the fiber thing. Now look, if you got constipation and it's driving you crazy and you're bloated and okay, I'm not against fiber in that sense, but fiber's overrated. It's not fiber. It's the lining of your gut that is full of yeast. Okay? So I know, ladies, that I came after you a little bit this morning, but it's because you've been lied to that you need fiber to live. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not even for a minute. Okay? Especially the non-digestible fibers. Oh, well, Doc, I'm just giving my bowel a scrub. Well, your bowel doesn't need a scrub. What do you think it is, a kitchen? The kitchen floor? Why do you need your bowel to have a scrub? Let your body scrub it with probiotics. Like, you don't need to scrub your bowel. These people, and one of the things that bothered me before, especially when you hear of, I got to do a wash. of my gut. Why? No. Look, I understand, but you got to get rid of yeast. The key is yeast, and fiber doesn't get rid of yeast. And you know what? A lot of vegetarians and vegans, they eat too much fiber. It actually feeds the yeast, so be careful with that. And look, if you got no digestive symptoms, you got no bloating or whatever, well, that's all right. I got it. But you know how many thousands of women I've had to stop them eating salad? I said, well, look, you're irritating your gut. This is one of your biggest problems. You're overeating salad. Salad? No, Dr. Martin, I have salad at lunchtime, and I have a salad at, it's low fat. Ooh, I get uptight about that. Okay? It's so stinking overrated. There's nothing in a stinking salad. I know I'm controversial. I don't care. I got 45 years of experience, and I'm telling you, it's overrated. And if you got digestive trouble, eliminate it. You got IBS, eliminate salad. No more salad. 3, 4, 5 weeks, stop it. And see how much better your gut gets when you take probiotics. And here's another one for a lot of people. I'm just going to tell you a hidden cause. One of the problems that you have with your gut, and the best thing to do, like you want to do a natural wash, it's not with salad, it's with water. Your bowel needs water, H2O, and drink water, because water is good for you. You know me, it's vitamin W, and you need to drink water. Now, don't drink it out of a tap. If you filter your water, you don't have to spend a lot of money drinking water, but filter it, please. Get rid of all the chemicals in there, because they'll destroy your friendly bacteria, especially the fluoride in the water. Here in Sudbury, we got bad water from the city. I don't like it at all. It's got, hundreds of chemicals in it, and I won't drink it. I won't drink it without it being filtered, okay? So if you got a good filter, good for you. Clean that water up. And you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on water. I like spring water, okay? I do. So it's very, very, very good. Okay, so guys, I appreciate all the feedback. Share this with your friends. So, love you guys. Talk to you soon.
You've reached the end of another Doctor is In podcast with your hosts, Dr. Martin Jr. and Sr. Be sure to catch our next episode, and thanks for listening.